Hello, I'm Andrew Zeiger. Alongside me is Daniel, Kevin, and Jacob here on 93.3 The Bird. And today we will be talking about the, the Birds and more specifically Jalen Hurts and how with he and new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore said the offense was 95% new. Now, as we know, the Eagles are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl as they failed to make it past the wild card last year. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on this comment by Jalen Hurts, and what do you think this means?
So I think for the Eagles at this point, this means that they really are embracing just getting an entire new offense into the regime here because what they did down the stretch last year just isn't good enough, and clearly taking it fully out of the hands of Sirianni as the head coach and making it completely into this new offense. And I don't really know where the 5% comes in that's not on the offensive coordinator or new. Like, that's probably the 5% is coming from the tush push, and that's about it. But anything else, the Eagles, any thoughts? Like, that's my take.
Yeah, they got the new offensive coordinator from the Chargers, Kellen Moore, and I think he's going to have much more explosive offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and so much more. Obviously, they got Saquon Barkley, which hopefully they use him much more, unlike they did with DeAndre Swift late in the season. I think Hurts is still a top 7, top 5 quarterback, and I think this is Sirianni's kind of prove it year. If they do not at least make it to the Super Bowl, I do think he does get fired, but I do think the offense is going to be much more better, much more productive, and much more explosive.
If anyone listening in has a take on this or wants to voice their opinion, call our number 774-253-7095. And Daniel, what's your take on this statement by Hurts?
I mean, the Eagles are obviously aiming for the Super Bowl. They want to go back there, having made it 2 years ago. Obviously, the way last year ended was not ideal for them. And with Kellen Moore having experience with the Cowboys and the Chargers, I think he obviously wants to see what can happen. And I think he wants to, and his goal is to maximize the use of Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and the weapons that the Eagles have.
Yeah, with the Kellen Moore thing, is it really going to be that much different? Like, what are we getting if you get to the end of the season? Are you going to lay the burden down on Nick Sirianni, who's really not doing anything in the first place? So if you don't do good at the end of the season, this is probably more on Kellen Moore than it is on anyone else.
Yeah, I agree, but I think they have a lot of trust this year with Kellen Moore, with Nick Sirianni, and I do think, it's Super Bowl or bust for them, and if they don't make it there or don't win, I do think not only Kellen Moore, but I do think it's over for Nick Sirianni.
So it's fair to give Nick Sirianni the boot after.
I think it's a bit too harsh because if you think of last year, we lost in the wild card. The Eagles lost in the wild card, I think. I mean, if you're stepping we did.
We lost before that.
But we step in the right direction, and I think, yes, many fans want the Super Bowl, but if we make the NFC Championship game and lose, I don't think the Sirianni is going to get fired. And if anyone has a take on this, call number 774-253-7095. And anyone else have a take about Sirianni and the Eagles offense?
Well, the Eagles offense has to be more running back and have a lot more running backs power on the team because they went away from everything. Everything got bad at the end of the year, but not being able to run the ball, which has always been an issue for this team, they never saw as running the ball being the most powerful thing in their offense.
Looks like we have a caller. Hello, what's your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, it's Billy from Texas. I'm here to call about the Eagles offense and how I think that it's not good under Nick Sirianni and that we need a new head coach.
First of all, you sound like a Cowboys fan, so
No, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm an Eagles fan, I swear.
Okay. So what's your take on Sirianni? Why don't you think he should be the coach?
I feel like he's underexperienced, and I think that we need a better coach that's more experienced and can handle the offense better and defense better.
So if the Eagles lose in the conference championship or even the Super Bowl, do you think Sirianni's going to get fired, and you think he should?
No, he's not. Yeah, he's probably not gonna, because I'm not gonna want him. But I feel like we're gonna have another bad season under him, so I feel like we're gonna need to change coaches.
So that's all. And so, remember, if anyone else wants to call, the number is 774-253-7095. I think that's all for this segment. And yeah.